Hello, hello, it's Dr. Joe. Welcome to Your Wellness for Life. I'm from Atlanta, and happy Wednesday, uh, the day before New Year's Eve. Do people call this New Year's Adam? I heard last week that someone called the day before Christmas Eve Christmas Adam. Maybe this could be New Year's Adam. Start a whole new thing. All right, well, welcome to Your Wellness for Life, where we discuss all 9 components of wellness. Wellness is a state of being, and good health is actually just one component of that. So there's lots of things that factor into our wellness. And, we got a new year coming up here soon. And a lot of people are ready to put 2020 into the rearview mirror. And I'm certainly ready to do that myself. I made a post today that said, if you want 2021 to be different, you're going to need to be different. Otherwise, it's just going to be a replay of 2020. And we don't want that. And I'm not talking about, the pandemic and social unrest and the election and all that stuff. And I can't remember, being 62 years old, I can't remember another time where we've had so much thrown at us, so much thrown at us. It's amazing that we are still functional. It's amazing that we are still doing as well as we're doing. And I know that there's people that are not doing well. And it's been a tough year. So, what I am going to be talking about is things that you can control and things that you can't control. And we waste so much time, we waste so much energy on the things that we can't control. And I don't know about you, but what I'm going to be talking about tonight really applies to myself as well. So, why don't we get started? And I actually have a list from Lori Deshane, who's the founder of the Tiny Buddha, and she has 50 things you can control right now. And we can't go through all 50, but I'm going to go through about 10 of them that kind of jumped out at me. But in general, there are 4 or 5 categories where you definitely can't control. You can't control people. You can't control other people. And as much as you try or much as you want to, you can't control other people. You can't control Mother Nature. You can't control the weather. The weather is the way it is. And I don't know about you, but not even the weatherman can change it. There's some physical needs that you can't change. People say that, we're in control of, our breathing and what we eat and drink. But if you really think about the very basics of it, try holding your breath. What happens is at some point your brainstem, which is kind of right down here at the bottom of your brain, it tells you better take a breath or else. Same thing with hydration. You decide that you're not going to be drinking, and at some point you're going to be so parched that you're going to be looking for any amount of liquid or water to kind of get yourself hydrated. So yeah, you're kind of in control of that, but ultimately there's something that's going to take control your brainstem so that you don't have something terrible happen to you. And the final thing is you can't really control outcomes of things. You really can't. And we'll come back to that. So let's go over the 10 things, according to Lori Deshane of the Tiny Buddha, things that you can control. And so number 1 that kind of stuck out at me was how many times you smile today. You can control that. Now, I was led to believe that it takes more muscles to frown than it takes to smile. And I learned tonight that's actually not true. It actually takes equal amount of muscles to smile and frown, roughly. 12 muscles to smile and about 11 muscles to frown. The difference between smiling and frowning, though, is that it actually takes more effort to frown. We do smile more often, so it becomes more effortless. But that's something you can control. And, people that have great charisma, you look at them and they're always just happy and smiling. And it certainly is infectious. So you can control how much you smile. So smile more. And I think the rest of the world will be better for it. Number 2, how often you say thank you. Do you have a grateful attitude? When I was a little kid, my mom always said, you go to someone else's house, make sure you thank that mom for allowing you to come and play with their kid, and whatever they give you, say thank you, thank you. And then my mom would always say, yeah, man, that lady, that mom that you played with their son, she really appreciated you saying thank you. So that's like smiling. It's also infectious. Say lots of thank yous. And maybe it doesn't have to be thank you to somebody else. Just say it to yourself, thank you for this wonderful day. Thank you for sunshine. Thank you for a roof over my head. Thank you for food. Thank you for health. There's lots of things that we are thankful for, should be thankful for, and an attitude of gratitude is always good. Number three, whether or not you compete with people around you. This comparing, comparitis, keeping up with the Joneses. Um, your neighbor gets a pool. You need a pool? Your neighbor gets a new SUV. You need an SUV? Do you really need it? Or are you just playing, keeping up with the Joneses? You're playing this comparitis kind of game. That may be a lot of wasted effort. So you can control what you do. You can't control what your neighbors do. Next thing, whether you dwell on negative thoughts or you let them go. You can't change the past. You can't influence the future, really. You should really be present in the day, the current day. So that's a good message. Next thing, how many times you swear in traffic or road rage? Um, I grew up in Germany. I learned to drive in Germany. And many of you have probably heard that on the Autobahn, there are no speed limits. Now, there are speed limits when you go through town and go through cities. It's not no speed limit anywhere. But you're out of town in general. There are places where you can go as fast as you want. And obviously, there's a price you pay for that. And I've seen some pretty bad accidents. But anyway, on a German highway, if there's two lanes, the right lane is for cruising and the left lane is for passing. And one thing that just irritates me here is that people don't really differentiate between the left lane and the right lane. And sometimes you have people just putzing along in the left lane when they really shouldn't be putzing along the left lane. If you're just putzing along, get over the right lane and let people pass you. There's actually a law in Georgia that says if you're hindering someone, you need to get out of the way, even if there's speed, even if they break the law. There's a law that says you need to get out of the way. So, but I guess I can't change other people's behavior, so maybe I just need to relax and sit behind the person that's putzing along. Next thing, how much time you spend trying to convince people you're right. As much as you try, people have their set beliefs. Again, it's one of those things. You can't control other people. You can't control their thoughts. You can't control their opinions. And it's like that recommendation of when you're at a dinner party. You probably should leave religion and politics out, talk about sports, talk about weather, talk about cooking, and you'll be much better off for that. Next thing that you can control is how many times you admit you don't know something and then learn something new. I learn something new every single day from my patients or from my coworkers. Honestly, I learn something new every day. But for doctors, sometimes it's hard to admit that they don't know something. And we know a lot, but it's not how much you know, it's can you find the answer. So it's okay to say I don't know it, and then just know where to find the answer. Next thing, whether you formulate a new plan or act on an existing one. Got a new year coming up, and lots of people making New Year's resolutions. Unfortunately, by mid-February, a lot of people just kind of have forgotten about their New Year's resolutions, kind of goes out the window. So maybe next year we can stick to those New Year's resolutions and actually formulate a good plan and stick to it. Next thing, whether you do or do not judge other people, or judgmentitis. The saying, don't judge a book by its cover. I think a lot of us still kind of do that. We fall victim to that. And so let's try to be less judgmental. And finally, how quickly you try again after you fall. It's not the failure that's the problem. It's whether you get back up again. And sometimes people think that the road to success is like a fork in the road. So one way is success and the other way is failure. It's actually not a fork in the road. To get to success, you actually have to go through failure. And if you talk to people that are very successful, they will tell you that they failed many, many times before they became successful. So don't be afraid of failing. Um, Fail forward and get back up again, and you'll be better for it, and you'll learn something, and you probably won't repeat that mistake again. Hopefully, you don't. All right, so those are 10 things that you can control. I actually have a list of 50, so if you want those from Gloria DeShane, just send me a message or send me a comment, and I'll be happy to send this to you. And then let's just kind of wrap up with 6 ways to kind of let go of control. Actually, focusing on what you can control and let the rest go. That might be the final thing that I want to leave you with tonight. And there's actually 6 ways to kind of do that. Um, and you'll actually expend less energy and less effort if you master these 6 steps. First one is, and this is really for people that are overthinkers and worriers. Make a list of what you can and can't control. Sometimes it's helpful to kind of see it visually written down, and um, and then sit back and really realize that there's some things that you can't control. Number 2, ultimately, you need to be flexible. And I know this may be difficult for type A personalities, people that are driven and they just have to have it their way. But when it comes to things like budgets and time frames and dealing with other people, you need to be flexible, listen to them, and then formulate your plan. Number 3, don't get attached or don't get addicted to the outcome or to the result. Again, you can't control the future, you can't control the outcome, but you can't control your activity level. So that's where your focus needs to be. Number 4, accept and embrace change. The world's always changing. Just think about this year. All the things that we had thrown at us this year, I don't remember in my lifetime ever having so many issues thrown at us with the pandemic and the virus and social unrest and this election. And who knows what 2021 will bring to us. Hopefully, it will be better. Vaccine, some people are for it, some people are against. Educate yourself, don't be misinformed, and then make a decision for yourself. Number 5, work towards personal growth. You know, that's something that you can really control. And if you don't know who Jim Rohn is, ROHN, get on YouTube and look at some of his personal development videos. He's no longer alive, but he certainly is one of the masters, one of the main gurus of personal development. And he used to say things like, don't wish for things to be easier, just wish for you to be better. And he also used to say, don't wish for better wind, wish for a bigger sail. And what he meant by that is you can't control the wind. You can't control the Federal Reserve. You can't control the interest rate. You can't control the economy. You can't control our deals with other countries. You just can't control that. And so that's the wind that people wish for when you really should be wishing for a bigger sail. And that sail is what you can control. And that's what Jim Rohn was talking about. And the final thing is be present. You've heard me talk about this before. You can only ever live in the present moment. And sometimes that's difficult with so many distractions around us, with our iPhones and our iPads and all this electronics that's around us now. It's very easy to kind of answer this and this ding and this dang over there, and you just get distracted. And so the most important thing is really make a difference between being present with your family and then being present for work. Try not to let those overlap because your family's not going to appreciate that. And that's one of the most difficult things for me. My excuse, I always say, well, I'm a doctor. I need to be close to my phone and got to be able to know when people try to get in touch with me. But, you know, it doesn't have to be right in your hand. It doesn't have to be right on the dinner table. It can be across the room. You'll hear it ring across the room. All right, so I hope you found this helpful. If any of this resonates with you, reach out to me. Um, Tomorrow we got Christmas Eve, and we're going to be turning a new year, saying a goodbye to 2020 and saying hello to 2021. So I wish you a restful evening, and we'll catch you all tomorrow on New Year's Eve. God bless. Dr. Joe from Atlanta. Bye.